It was literally just a couple of days ago we were talking about this, how positive it was with Polkadot running into the 200 daily moving average. So we managed to breach the 200 daily moving average, but that was met by a reaction where a bearish candle pushed us below. So what we're going to do in this video is just look at individual candlesticks that are going to tell us a story to help identify what's going to happen in the next few days. We're not talking about weekly projections, we're not talking about monthly projections. We're talking about getting out of this range so we can start making bigger swings to the upside. And we are going to start with the 200 daily moving average. We're going to start with these last four candles because this was Jerome Powell speaking at Jackson Hole. That created positivity in the market. Why was that? Because he hinted that there was going to be a rate cut. Now there's a high probability, about 86%, that we're going to get a rate cut going into September FOMC. So that created hype in the market. And we've seen that as we went from Bitcoin into Ethereum and started going further down the risk curve into blue chips. And then we'll start going into smaller caps. But we need to understand and identify exactly what we are. And with Polkadot, this pattern tells a story. You've got a bullish candle, completely engulfs the previous 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 days of price action. That's strong. It's come up, it's hit the 200 moving average. We can bring up our indicators. We can look at this point where we overbought or oversold. We were overbought at this point. So we need to cool off at this point. We need to pull back and we need enough momentum to be able to push back through here. So let's continue to talk about the short term. So you've got the big bullish candle. You've got an indecision candle, which just breached the 200. It stayed above the 200. And then that was met by a following candle, which was a lower low, lower close candle, which closed not the previous extreme low of the previous day, but it closed the body of the previous day. So that signals strength for the bears. They took price below the 200 daily moving average. And here we are today. We've had a rejection. You can see this wick here come up, tested, that rejected. And then the bears are pushing price down, pushing price down. Now, how far are they likely to push price down? Because we talked about this in the previous video. This is your new support zone. Why is that your new support zone? Because that was our resistance barrier. We broke through a volume, we broke through a volatility. We've done a 3-4 bar reversal. We're coming back down and we're coming to test this previous resistance as support. So that is your first area. This is going to be the key area we need to hold today. And that's why we're getting a reaction at this area at $3.88. So you've got $3.88. What else have you got to fall back on? You've got your trend line. So your trend line comes all the way down here. That's going to be about 378. So you've got two areas to fall back on. What is the aim of the game in the short term for Polkadot? We need to break to the upside and not break to the downside. So what do we need to watch out for? We need to watch out for a break and a close that takes out $3.70. If we get a break and close that takes out $3.70, then we're looking for lower resistance point, lower support zones down here, $3.50, lower support zones down here, $3.15. We're holding this range, we're putting in higher lows, we've got momentum. This hasn't happened yet. So in the short term, all I'm waiting for is to hold this support and then to try and get a bit of momentum going into the crypto market. Bank holiday in the UK today, guys. So as far as the London Open's concerned, there's not enough liquidity going into the market as far as the London Open's concerned, which takes out liquidity within the market. We've got other opens across the world which may start increasing volatility within the course of the day as we progress during the course of the day as those opens actually open. So they're all trading different assets across the world, and collectively you get different types of liquidity during different times, during Asia Open, during the UK London Open, during the US Open, the New York Open. So you do get different flows of liquidity, and that could be one of the reasons why we haven't seen any kind of pump going into this morning. So I am watching this on Polkadot. I'm monitoring this on Polkadot. If it breaks to the upside, I'm going to do a video. If it breaks to the downside, I'm going to do a video. So make sure you hit that notification bell so you understand exactly what I'm going to be doing in the video, because the break is going to be the most important thing, because that's going to give us the directional bias for the next big move. I'm going to be doing, what am I doing next? Cardano next. So I'll see you in the next one.